At 16, I decided I was done being average. I didn't want to live a normal life like everyone did, constantly being pressurized to follow a path that was guided by their parents, society, and others. They were never in control of their life, and I'm sure you watching this don't have control of life either. But these simple habits, mindsets, have propelled me towards where I want to be and where I am today, and also, hopefully, in the near distant future. The self-improvement journey all starts off with this key habit: discipline. Discipline is delaying what you have now for something greater that you want in the future. The ability to show up even when you don't feel like it is the cornerstone, most important habit and mindset of your self-improvement journey. Because without discipline, no task, whether it may be the gym, starting a business, or directing your life into something that you're really passionate about to make money out of that, all require discipline. Any field of work or any place you go, you need discipline. That's one habit that will never leave your life. I have never been fully consistent in my life. I will be transparent here. I haven't had the discipline to be consistent every single day. But what I do is I try my best. Even recently, even when I wanted to wake up in the morning early, I kept on snoozing my alarm and went back to bed. But I realized that if I talk about it, I must follow it too. So today, I'm here recording this video. I want all of you to at least try to discipline yourself into some task that you're really passionate about. Because once you actually do something you love, the fulfillment you acquire is so much more rejuvenating than actually the tasks you're forced to do. Motivation fades away, but discipline will stay with you forever. Doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it, actually helps you to get better every single day. Even if you miss a day, it might hinder your performance. That's why discipline is such an important aspect of your life. Even if you don't perform at the highest level, but even if you're doing it at a certain level, you're still growing. Maybe it's not the exponential growth you're expecting, but getting 1%, 2%, or even maybe 10 to 15% better at that days when you don't feel like doing it is still growth. And I want to stay consistent, and I'm hopefully helping you guys do it too. Learn to say no to short-term successes, whether it may be the quick dopamine from your phone or the instant gratification from eating junk food. Think about how you'll feel when your future self looks back at you today and either is shameful or grateful on the habits that you partake in. Because if only you do the habits that your future self will be grateful for, then should you do it now? So learn to say no to short-term pleasures and be mindful about delayed gratification. I made a whole video about delayed gratification up there if you want to check it out after this video. And my last point in this topic of discipline is create routines and work towards your goals even when no one's watching. Because we all crave attention. We all want validation that we're doing well in the direction we're going in. But I'm here to tell you, no one's coming to save you. No one's going to give you every single moment the instant validation that you want. I've been there. I always want validation from people. But soon I realized that I'm not gonna get the validation that I want, and my final results will speak for themselves. Because as you've seen in so many quotes, the support is zero, but the congratulations is a whole ton of people telling you you've done it. That's the hard truth about life. No one wants to be where you're building. No one wants the hard work to where you've got to your success. But everyone wants the end goal, the success. They don't want to put in the hard work. Which slowly brings me to the next point, which is hard work. If you think you're going to just sit there, watch this video, and maybe gain something out of it, yeah. But if you think it's going to change your life, I'm here to say no. It's the actions that you take towards building your life that will actually give you the results. If you don't already know this, hard work with discipline is going to take you far ahead in life. I'm saying hard work because people often overlook the amount of discipline that you need is just showing up. But when you're actually there doing the task, you should push yourself to the absolute limits and actually give your 100%. Because what's the point of doing a task when you can't reach your full potential? There will be days when you can't do it. I'm not saying you will do it every single day, but at least try, put in the hard work, because that's when you'll reap the rewards that you deserve. I was never a hard-working guy. I was a fat, lazy, ugly piece of shit. I never worked out. I never concentrated on what I ate. Never concentrated on what I consumed. I would mindlessly scroll, watch random YouTube videos, eat shit food, and just live life in the terms of my society, parents, and friends. But soon I realized it was so important to cut out all these distractions, to build my life, and to partake in a path that I actually wanted to run. Because natural talent without hard work is nothing. You can beat any natural talent that people may have just by doing this hard work. The hard work to be better, to build your life in terms that you want to live and actually push to the limits and build a beautiful life that you enjoy living. So many of us hate the life that we're living, especially in India, where we are constantly pressurized to study. And if I ask any student out there, do you like studying? Everyone's gonna say no, except the ones that actually love studying. There are some exceptions, and you can't ignore them. As the third point said in discipline, that you need to build systems when no one's watching. You need to put in the hard work when no one is clapping. Because, as I said, no one's coming for validation at every moment in your life. But you know that if you actually push through this phase where you're building, the final results will get you the amount of appreciation and claps that you deserve for putting in the hard work when no one was watching. Which brings me to the point of consistency. One great day of hard work and discipline, or 100 boring days of consistency. Well, the 100 days is what's gonna get you greater results. You can be inconsistent all you want, but you will never see results. Consistency over time, even though your progress is slowly increasing rather than the rapid growth in one day, you will see greater results because the compound effect actually works. Where you build your life, if you start at level 1 on day 1, even if you level up 1% every day, you're actually gonna compound the percentages of where you're gonna be at the final day of when you look back. Remember that you should never fall off this path. Days will get harder, there will be sleepless nights, but always push and keep going. Never give up. I slowly, at 16, became consistent with the gym, with the work that I do, and maybe slightly with studying, which is not really my goal. I have been consistent in areas of life that really meant a lot to me, but so should you. If you're consistent in the parts of life that you actually admire, you will reach the final destination through hard work, discipline, and the consistency. But let me tell you one thing about consistency. You can miss a day or two, but don't let that compound or snowball into bigger weeks, days, or maybe even months. There can be days when you miss the gym because you had something more important to figure out. That's fine. But don't let that snowball into something bigger where you're missing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days continuously, and finally you just fall off that path. No matter the trials and tribulations, you must get back on track and focus on where you're headed. Because consistency with discipline and hard work, and along with the other habits and mindsets that I'm going to talk in this video, will actually get you where you want. My fourth point is drive. Drive is the constant motivation that helps you stay on this path. Well, drive is not technically motivation, but it is the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Because everyone has a reason why they're on this path. Whether it is to do well in life, to attract the opposite sex, to maybe actually help your parents with whatever they need, or to achieve financial time and location freedom. Everyone has their own reasons, but only when the reason is so compoundly strong will the willpower, drive, and motivation always be there for you to stay on that path. What drives you? What pushes you to do better? And what actually you keep constantly thinking about as the end goal is your driving force. Leave that below in the comment section down below. And tell me what actually drives you to be better in life. For me, it was always the money, the constant appreciation. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's what I want. But there is a wholesome side to it too. How will I feel when I am the best version of myself towards my future wife, towards my future kids, and maybe become the best version of myself to society? That's when it's gonna help everyone around me to the max potential. What drive does is it helps you chase your goals even when no one's watching. Drive is the external motivation that actually you've been wanting. When discipline, consistency, hard work is all on track, drive gives you that slight bit of motivation to do the hard work, to do it when you don't feel like it, to do it every single day. That's when you know that the actual result and the reason that you're doing it is truly valuable towards your dream life. The last and final, most important tip is the growth mindset. The growth mindset means you believe in improvement and not perfection. Because the mistakes that you make aren't your failures. When you think of mistakes like that, the constant feedback loop that you get from these mistakes help you become better in life. Because when you learn from the past mistakes that you've made, you actually get better in life. There's a quote that says, "Smart people learn from the mistakes of others. Normal people learn from the mistakes they commit." Well, I don't believe in learning from other people's mistakes, because you can learn some of the mistakes that others have made and maybe make your life better, but the huge mistakes that you commit, only you know that you can correct it in the future. The growth mindset is such an important part of your life that it goes from things like "I'm not good at this" to "I'm not good at this yet." That single word at the end of this sentence changes how you look at the equation, how you can do better in life. Well, the growth mindset is what will actually push you to become the better version of yourself, even if you're at a level where everyone appreciates you. At the end of all this, you enjoy learning. You become a person who dives deep into subjects, actually learns for not just the sake of by hearting it, but actually wanting to learn something that you're interested in, and pushing and working hard, staying consistent, having the drive and the growth mindset to become the best version of yourself in this life. Dream hard, grind harder. It's Tarun signing off.